All right, it's 1:07. I'm calling the June 20th, 2023 meeting of the Albemarle County Architecture Review Board to order. Could we call the roll, please?
Yes. Mr. Stoner,
Here.
Mr. Matsuno,
Here.
Mr. Henningsen,
Here.
Mr. Hancock, and Mr. Vanderwerf are absent today.
All right, thanks a lot. Today's meeting is a hybrid meeting. The public may access and participate in the meeting electronically. Instructions for doing so are posted on the Albemarle County website at the Albemarle County calendar. The public has real-time audiovisual access to this meeting over Zoom and real-time audio access over telephone. Both is provided in the lawfully posted meeting notice. This meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the county's website. This meeting is a public record and subject to disclosure under the Freedom of Information Act. All speakers, when it is your turn to speak, please first state your name for the record. Applicants who are making presentations, note that your presentation is limited to a total of 15 minutes, which you can divide among your team members. Staff will let us know when the 15 minutes are up. If applicants in the meeting room have team members attending virtually who will need to present, please make that known when you come to the podium. Everyone who is participating virtually, please mute your microphone until it is your turn to speak. Do any ARB members have anything to disclose?
No.
Me either. Are there any members of the public that want to make a comment about a project that is not on the agenda for review today?
No.
All right, thanks. We'll move to the consent agenda. We have one consent agenda item today, which is ARB 2023-51, Kalina Farm Initial Site Plan. Do any ARB members want to move the Kalina Farm application off the consent agenda for discussion?
No.
I do not.
Me neither. So, yes, would anyone like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, if we can put it to a vote.
Mr. Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Matsuno. Aye. And Mr. Henningsen.
Aye. All right, thanks a lot. We have one regular review item today, which is ARB 2023-55, 999 Rye Road. Mariah, is the presentation ready?
Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to be presenting ARB 2023-55, 999 Rio Road for your consideration. The site is located at 999 Rio Road East, north of K-Tech, east of Harvest Church of God, south of the Belvedere neighborhood, and west of the Dunlora neighborhood. The ARB previously reviewed a site plan application for this parcel. The final site plan received a certificate of appropriateness on September 2021. The plan included a commercial building fronting the entrance corridor with residential units located beside and behind the commercial use. Since the ARB last reviewed the proposal, the applicant requested a zoning map amendment to remove the non-residential uses from the development. That request was approved by the Board of Supervisors last month on May 3rd. This image here is of the revised and approved application plan. The initial site plan that's under review today shows the residential buildings and stormwater facilities in the same locations as the approved application plan from the rezoning. The initial site plan did not include landscape plans, architectural drawings, elevations, or renderings. In speaking with the applicant, they have indicated that the side elevations of the residential units, which face Rio Road East, the entrance corridor, will be the same as those previously proposed. And these are the elevations from the previous application. The primary issues at this time result from the removal of the fronting non-residential building. With that removal, the stormwater management facility, parking area, mechanical units, all service and utilitarian features will be more visible and prominent. Also, the site layout does not establish an appropriate relationship between the site elements and the entrance corridor. Residential units are arranged perpendicular to the entrance corridor and set back from it by approximately 90 to 190 feet. This orientation and distance diminish the visual connection to the entrance corridor. Also, the grouping of units is not organized to establish a coordinated appearance from the entrance corridor, but rather units are organized around the Belvedere Boulevard entrance. In addition, existing and proposed easements along the entrance corridor frontage will severely limit, if not eliminate, the ability to plant appropriate landscaping for screening or softening the visual impacts of these components. The result is a development whose back is turned to the entrance corridor with insufficient space for mitigation. These conditions do not support an integrated site design nor an orderly and attractive appearance from the entrance corridor street. Staff recommends approval of the proposal with the conditions listed in the staff report. The conditions are shown here. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have.
All right, thanks a lot. Tara, do you have any questions?
I don't. Thank you for the presentation.
Frank, do you have any questions?
Was any landscape plan submitted in conjunction with this or not?
No, not with this application.
Okay, I don't have any other questions.
I guess my question is, you mentioned some easements on the entrance corridor that they were not shown on the plan that we got, or could you describe what the easements are?
So I'll bring them up. The last approved plan. I'll get them. And that's under review. But they're right along the entrance court, the frontage of the entrance corridor. And then go into the site about at least 25 feet in some areas. But let me pull up the plan and you can look at it. This would be one of them. The second, and then the stormwater facility is a third. Probably a better image. You can actually see the lines on this one. Here.
All right, thank you. And I guess if there are no more questions for staff, we'll move on to the applicant's presentation, if they have one.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Scrow. I'm the applicant for this project. Just a little bit of background. We've been before you previously back in 2021, as Mariah said. In that application, we had stacked units, 1/1s along Belvedere Boulevard. And like Mariah pointed out, it had a side elevation facing Rio Road. And then we had a commercial building where the stormwater pond is, and that faced Rio Road. And then a cottage cluster in the back. Because site work doubled during the time that we were going through the site plan process. We had to make adjustments, and unfortunately that included daylighting the stormwater facility. And the location had to be, because of some grading, had to be along the front, which is along Rio Road. So I know it's not ideal. But we do plan on providing more detailed. We're working with Jessica Prim, who's a landscape architect. Craig Builders is now building the entire site out. And so they always do a great job of providing sufficient landscaping. So what's before you right now just doesn't have enough detail. In speaking with Justin, who is working with Jessica, there is some room in between. I think that's an RWSA easement along Rio Road. There is some distance there between that and the stormwater pond to provide a true shade tree. We had initially had some shrubbery, because you can still do some shrubbery. You all know this anyway, in the easement area, but it would be ideal to have a shade tree there. Anyway, all that to say is the architectural designs for the units along Belvedere will be the same that you all have seen before. And then we do need to provide screening and detailing for landscaping of the storm around and within and next to the stormwater pond. So thank you for your time today, but we do need to provide more details for that final plan.
All right, thanks a lot. We'll see if there are any questions for the applicant. Frank, do you have any questions?
I forget what the elevations look like, and I don't know if they're part of the, like, we saw the side elevation. Do we have any of the front elevations?
I printed something out, actually.
We may have it. Oh, okay.
I have some of the plants too as well. I thought we would be in 241, which is more.
I was just curious as to how they address Belvedere Boulevard, which is really not in our purview, but just curious.
Tara, do you have any questions?
I was also hoping to see the elevations and perspective, so that I think with that, it would help the discussion.
All right, thank you. I don't have any questions. So are there any members of the public that would like to make a comment?
No, there's no members of the public.
All right, thanks a lot. So the ARB will now go into discussion. Tara, do you have any comments?
I think it would be helpful to see the landscaping, and in the context of the proposed landscaping, I'm just wondering if there's any possibility of, if we're looking at the front elevation.
And these are from the previous submittal that they might have chosen to go, things could have changed, but this is just the previous package.
Is this the elevation facing Belvedere Boulevard or the one facing the parking lot? Have the ones. That's Belvedere Boulevard. Okay.
I guess my thought is just that it's not a really it's not an uncommon condition to have a stick of townhomes terminating, but to see some attempt to address the entrance corridor with detailing that would relate to the front or rear facades and kind of turn the corner, I think would create a better relationship to the entrance corridor. I'm just looking to see what be possible, but that would be kind of where I would be interested in seeing a little bit more detail.
All right, thanks. Frank, do you have any comments?
Is it a dry pond, I assume? Is it a dry pond or a wet pond?
Dry.
Dry, okay. So would it have to be fenced or is it shallow enough that
It does not have to be fenced.
okay. Well, yeah, echoing what Tara said, I don't necessarily have any problem with the side elevation facing the corridor, but I do feel like it'd be helpful to see a landscape plan, just understand what the perspective would look like.
Thanks. And I guess that gets to my comment too. I kind of missed the easements when I was looking at it. Initially, I thought that there seemed to be a nice large space for landscaping and buffer against the corridor, which I thought was a really good thing. It's a shame that the easements kind of restrict the, I guess, palette of options that you can do as far as landscaping, but it didn't seem like there was anything there that would, you know, prevent kind of a creative and good landscaping area between the buildings and the corridor. And I guess at this kind of early stage, I didn't really see anything about the layout of the site that gave me any concerns either. So I think I'm interested and kind of curious to see the landscape and kind of the final architecture once it comes through. But at this point, I didn't see anything that I thought concerned me.
Is that corner easement for? The easement at the corner,
Mhm.
what is that for?
Oh, the easement at the corner. I think, I don't know. I guess you can see there's an RWSA line that goes through there. Do you know what exactly that corner one's for?
Yeah, sorry. Justin Schimm, engineer for the project, for the record. Yeah, it's a storm drainage easement. There was, and you can see the pipe up there. So we probably can plant a little bit in that we can't in the RWSA easement. We can put this kind of pond, we have in space. I was actually gonna put some trees in the corner of the dry pond. So there will be some landscaping in that stormwater facility area. But I think as you approach up Rio, looking into the site will help. Because we can do that pond, you know, we had to basically sacrifice underground detention for cost, but we can plant within that a little bit. And if we get 3 or 4 decent sized trees in that area, I think as you come up Rio and looking into the parking area, it'll kind of break that up a little bit. So we'll have that on the final submittal.
Is that a yard drain I'm looking at?
Yes, is that the low point of the site is that
Yeah.
drain sort of right in that easement. So that's thus the pond, and the site drains predominantly down to this direction towards Rio. We have to be very careful about, there's no drainage facilities to the back towards the Belvedere or towards the neighborhood there, not Belvedere, Shepherd's Ridge. So we're having to put the stormwater all at the front for, you know, basically, we have no point of discharge to the rear.
That yard drain necessary once you got,
Oh, it's there. That's a big like a concrete DI that picks up the drainage in the whole site.
yeah, I'm just asking so water coming out of the detention facility goes into that drain?
Yes,
Gotcha, okay.
and then underneath Rio from there towards the church across
Gotcha.
the street.
Great. Are there any other questions or comments for the applicant?
Can you plant shrubs in that easement?
In the storm easement, yes, in the RWSA easement. Maybe, they're depending on the language of it, they're pretty particular about that, but I think we do have enough space. There's a space from the back of that pond to the parking area. You know, there's a bench there, essentially, we can plant shrubs in that entire zone. Screen the parking area. And if we can get some trees with sort of different canopy heights in them, in the pond, that'll help, you know, with some that grow tall and some that grow
Yeah.
short, I think will provide an effective screen, you know, of that parking area. We do have a little space, and it's tight, how do we like it to be, and the easements are unfortunate, but we're also talking about 2-story brick, well put together structures. So I'm I think that when they address the side view architecturally, a little bit of landscaping, I think we can get to where we need to be with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think curious to see what landscaping comes out. Just for my part, I think it'd be nice to see, I think the thing to avoid would be that the townhome elevation, especially on the plan north unit, that corner unit is sort of the blank face, and then there's no landscaping around it. So to the extent that that could be addressed through landscaping or through architectural detailing, I think that would be pretty reasonable. But
Yeah, we agree, certainly.
yeah,
That makes sense.
Yeah, Craig might even be able to design that unit to orient in a way that doesn't make it obvious that it's the side of the townhouse, right? I mean, you could kind of,
The problem I think they're running into is that they have kind of a front elevation look. You saw like a whole host of windows along Belvedere, and then also you have your true front along, so that would be 3 fronts that you would be.
but it's just one unit.
It is just one
Yeah.
unit. You certainly can add a,
Yeah, we need more windows on that side from the stuff, from the, from the standard view we had before, I think. And it's just a matter of what's on that as far as stairs and bathrooms and things like that. But there's gotta be some space to.
I mean, you could put a patio out there and have access, you could have living space on that
Yeah.
side, which would.
Yeah, and we have,
add
there,
some-
we have the most of anywhere right next to that lot 1, right? That there is really, I don't know, 30 or so feet of this open space between that unit and the
Right.
easement. So we have, that's where we have the most space also.
Great. I guess if we could look at the recommended motion and we'll just see.
So the recommendation is for approval of the initial plan, basically with the conditions listed in the staff report.
All right, thanks. Did anyone have any tweaks or anything they would like to make?
yeah, this looks okay.
All right, yeah, and I don't have any issues either. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll move to recommend approval of the initial site plan for the comments listed in the staff report amended as follows to the agent for site review committee. There are no amendments.
A second.
All right, thanks.
Mr. Matsuno,
Aye.
Mr. Stoner,
Aye.
Mr. Henningsen.
Aye. All right, well, thanks a lot. We don't have any work sessions today. So we'll move on to other business. First of which is approval of the June 5th, 2023 minutes. Would anybody like to move to adopt the June 5th minutes?
So move.
I'll second that.
Mr. Matsuno,
Aye.
Mr. Stoner,
Aye.
and Mr. Henningsen.
Aye. All right, thanks a lot. Do any board members or staff have any additional items for discussion? All right, well then we'll move to the,
I guess one question from Raya related to the order guidelines, kind of what the status is and when you think those might be done.
We have one more corridor that's under review, and then we are actually waiting on information to finish the last of the corridors, and then we'll start around two going through.
I can send an email reminder, if that would be helpful.
Yes,
Awesome.
I'm sure the members who haven't done their things feel quite guilty about that and will endeavor to get that done soon.
Our goal is to have Rio East to you for the next meeting.
Right. If we don't have any other items, does not look like we will have a quorum on July 3rd. So the next ARB meeting is scheduled for July 17th, 2023. Yes, Frank or Tara, do you expect to be able to attend that one?
I will not.
Okay. I guess at this point, we don't know about Dade or Frank.
I'll double check with them.
Okay. All right, well, the meeting is tentatively scheduled for the 17th, if we can get a quorum, and if not, we'll figure something else out. So in that case, the meeting is adjourned to the next meeting on July 17th, 2023, and it's 1:33 by my watch. Thanks a lot, everybody.